Hello everyone, and it's me, Lancer737, and today I'm here to ask the important questions. The most important of all questions. Who has the most powerful magic laser in My Little Pony G4? I guess you could also say G5, but I rarely see anyone use it. I see them use the other spells, so yeah, they're included, but they barely do it, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, so yeah, let's get into it. So there's various different ways we can approach this. How I would approach this is two different ways. One, going by pure visibility of what we see with the lasers, and second, include what we know about the lore. And I'm doing this to also have a fun topic about lasers because I absolutely love lasers. I'll be showing some stuff from a channel that I love that talks about lasers and shows stuff that they do with lasers. Now, before I get into it, I do not recommend that you get into this hobby without serious learning and practice and apprenticeship with people that handle dangerous laser equipment. This stuff is cool stuff for you to watch and look at, but I do not want you to ever mess with the stuff that what you will see in this video. It would hurt me if any of you got hurt messing with lasers. Anything that could cause you harm, whether it be light-based or any other form of energy output, I don't want you to go. Now, that being said, there's an interesting thing that we see. First, we're going to talk about pure visibility. So let's assume that all the characters' lasers have the same ranges. They travel out the same distance no matter what. So this creates a very easy way to tell who has the most powerful magic laser. But before we get into that, what is a laser? A laser is light amplified by stimulated emissions of radiation. What you're doing is you are organizing all the photons into a coherent beam, organized beam. Like, imagine, I'm going to show diagrams of what that looks like. But to simplify it, imagine photons are going in every single direction. You're using the lasing method to organize all the photons into a straight organized beam or coherent path, light amplified by stimulated emissions of radiation. So, key thing I should tell you: the lower the spectrum, the more high energy the photon is. It's easier to get something on the higher end of the spectrum, or the highest end of the spectrum, which is going to be on the red end of it, than it is to get something on the blue or possibly lower than blue. I say possibly lower because there is a theory that there is spectrums below ultraviolet that are actually purple, and possibly even more. But that is just a theory. So ignoring that, things that are ultraviolet would be the lowest. So you already know where this is going. Ultraviolet looks blue and purple. Ironically enough, true fact, the more energy you put behind an ultraviolet light, the bluer and lighter it gets. So the less energy you have going through it, the more purple it looks. It's a unique phenomenon, but it's pretty cool. And I will show a demonstration here in the video. I found some people that had some lights on. They had various different lights. The lights have all the same output energy-wise for these lights. And you'll notice that the red lights are much more vibrant than the purple or blue ones. And that is because, again, it's much easier to get a low energy photon, which is on the red spectrum, to go out further than it would be a high energy photon. So if they're able to travel the same distance, then by default, anything that is a darker color is going to be severely more powerful. Now, the trick to that is you really shouldn't use human eyes for these measurements, because human eyes are designed to pick up on green light. So if you're doing this test for fun with non-lasers, just flashlights, your eyes will instinctively pick up on the green light more. So you should actually use other methods for this. My method's kind of crude, but yeah, this is just for fun. Anyway, so going by this, I already have a tier list for you. Who has the most powerful lasers? Princess Luna is the reigning champion. She has the most powerful magic laser. Again, this is this is the A category, where we're not going to take in the category into aspect any of the lore other attributes for these characters. So Luna would be in first place. Luna is in first place because she has a laser that is composed of light blues, navy blues, and various different purples, especially when she makes a magic laser. I mean, a magic super laser. A magic super laser. Now, you'll see she does this in one episode. It's before Luna and Celestia have the elements of harmony. They need to destroy King Sombra. Don't listen to what the people say. They actually killed King Sombra and then trapped his soul in ice. That is exactly what happened. They had no way to deal with them, no way to safely capture him, so they obliterated his body when they combined their magics together and just annihilated him. Now, excluding the super laser, when she's by herself, she does still have some purple in her magic laser, like dark purple, the navy blues and pulses, and light blue. So it's all on that the high energy photon end, which is the lower end. It's pretty cool stuff. But and mechanically, those lasers will be the most powerful things. Like that's what you would want to use as a laser weapon for destroying metals and stuff like that. Fun fact: in this video, you'll see a guy make a small little hole in tungsten steel with a blue laser. That is a massive feat.
Right here I have a 2.5 kilo chunk of tungsten. Let's see what happens when I hit it with the laser. In case you don't find these little craters impressive, tungsten has a melting point of over 3,400 degrees Celsius, the highest melting point of all pure metals. Now, I wouldn't even be surprised if the center of the fireball is hotter than the surface of the sun. So by some chance, can this thing burn through diamonds? Let's find out. Oh, they're burning. They are absolutely burning there. Oh, I think one just exploded. Wow! It actually lit a diamond on fire. Wow. That's amazing. I guess it shouldn't be so surprising that diamonds burn, considering they're just carbon, but it still takes a very hot temperature to ignite them, and they reflect a large portion of the laser light anyway. In fact, the diamond reflections are particularly scary, since the crystals reflect intact portions of the beam, and result in a terrifying disco ball of insta-blindness.
Is going to be Shining Armor. You're going to be like, what? Shining Armor is number 3. Shining Armor and Twilight Sparkle both have magenta purple lasers. They're not as dark as Princess Luna's whenever she does have purple in it. And also technically they're not as dark as the navy blue pulses that are in her magic lasers. But it's darker than even Twilight's. So technically, if they're all at the same range, Shining Armor would have the third place most powerful magic laser. And then naturally after him would be his sister Twilight Sparkle. Isn't that crazy? Now, this was a hard one, but after that it would be Caden's. Caden's magic laser is actually a very light blue laser, but it's still blue. Thus it is using higher energy photons. If they travel the same distance, she'll be that in the ranking. And then after her, it would be Queen Chrysalis because she uses a green magic laser. And then after that, believe it or not, after all the characters that we have talked about, the one with the weakest magic laser would be Celestia and Daybreaker, and that probably blows your mind. It would be Celestia and then Daybreaker. Celestia because she has a yellow magic laser, which is also near the middle, very close to Chrysalis's because it's green. Hers being green, Celestia being yellow. But Daybreaker, her magic laser is red. It's closer to the infrared spectrum of lasers. It also looks like it has a fiery effect, whether that fire be atomic fire, a magic fire, or a magic fire that does unnatural things, that has attributes that can't be quantified that are associated with fire. We don't know, but it's interesting. It's pretty cool. And then we have our outliers. These are special ones I had. I'm not quite sure where they would go. because there's lots of very unique ways we can interpretate their magical attacks. We have King Sombra, the Pone Shadows, and Nightmare Moon. They all appear to have black magic lasers, or at least two of them at the very least. But what would a black magic laser be? I've seen people hypothesize it's a heat beam. That doesn't work. What is a heat beam versus a laser? A heat beam would fire concentrated or unconcentrated thermal energy that excites molecules that causes thermal damage. Imagine someone coming at you with a giant air dryer of destruction and it's trying to set everything on fire. It sucks. I've had it happen. You don't want to deal with that. It sucks. It sucks a lot. But a laser, it's using photonic energy, light amplified by stimulated emissions of radiation, that then puts that photonic energy into a target, let's say a molecule. The molecule reacts to the photonic radiation or energy, and it will cause an effect, depending on how powerful it is. Let's say it is, Luna's magic laser. Then it's causing thermal kinetic damage. It's exciting the molecules so much that it causes an explosion. In fact, lasers can be so powerful when they do that, they cause a small plasma explosion. In fact, there are some instances where that reaction is so intense, it actually cancels out the material catching fire. People mistake heat beams with lasers all the time, and it's not the same thing. So, what are the black magic lasers that we're seeing from these three characters? Or at least two of them. You see, with King Sombra, I was considering counting his attack as a magic laser, but it's very globulous. It's almost like it's more like a magic plasma bolt. And in his case, it very well could be. And in which case, if he is not actually using any magic lasers, well then, he's out of this tournament! Disqualified! Get out of here, it's King Sombra, you're done! So, yeah. I don't know where to put him, and he when he was fighting Discord, he kept on lobbing these magic attacks at him over and over and over again. Hopefully they were different spells, because I can't imagine him just sitting there and just attacking him with the same spell over and over again after seeing that they're not working, unless he's sensing that he's whittling down Discord's magical defenses. It's always possible, but I kind of doubt it. So let's say there's only two then. Two that have black magic lasers. What would a black magic laser be? Okay, so these are the things that it could be. Could be, because they are magic based, they're actually literally creating a black photon. This black photon does not count as anti-light. So like when it's fired at something or emitted at something, it might give off the feeling that it is anti-light. But if you have photons from other light sources that have a higher output, it's going to cause a light effect that makes things have a gray or silvery effect.
Magic science!
And I know this is kind of crazy stuff, but trust me, this is all crazy. We're talking about ponies and magic lasers. So, if it's a black photon, they are firing lasers that are significantly more powerful than what we see other characters use. Now, Nightmare Moon, her lasers are like intense, like blue lasers. But we do see her fire a super laser by herself. It's when she was fighting Daybreaker. That is what she was making, a super laser. That thing had an intense core, like an intense black laser core. If that is a black laser, then she's in first place. She beats Princess Luna. Technically, Princess Luna is Nightmare Moon, but she's also not. So, you get the drift. Now, the Pony of Shadows also has a pure black magic laser. It also has some strange attributes with it. So, it's possible it's not a black photon magic laser, but it also could be. Or it could be a mix of multiple things, too. I feel like his is more of a magic laser than King Sombras. But let's look at a more interesting thing. What if they're not black photon magic lasers? What if they're dark photon magic lasers? What is a dark photon? Dark photons are hypothesized to be linked with dark matter. Both things actually are supposedly moving celestial bodies more than just gravity moves celestial bodies. Now this I'm a little bit less versed with, and I think there's been some things recently that have debunked this, but I could be wrong. But these dark photons, they kind of function like a photon, but we would not see it. So it'd be like, shining an infrared laser. You can't see an infrared laser, but it still would be pretty dangerous. Whether because the output of it is really high, or it's high enough that it would actually blind someone. But, the problem is, if it is a dark photon, we actually should not be seeing them fire these magic lasers. But you never know. So that's the least likely one. But there is another. There is one other insidious thing that these black lasers could be. Have you ever heard of Kujulwits? Yeah. We're going to talk about the Kujulwits. This is hypothetical. They ruled it likely impossible under normal and even most artificial circumstances. Photons on their own do not have a gravitational pull, no physical effect on things, except for the fact that if you look at solar sails, you can use photons to move things, and it's because of the velocity of the photon and the other energies that they're putting out that would cause a reaction to make things move. So hypothetically, you could have enough organized, like if it's a laser, you can have enough lasers organized, causing such a gravitational effect because of the impact of the photons and the energy that they're colliding with something, that it causes a black hole. Just them being there causes a black hole. You know how frightening that is if that's actually what we're seeing? What if Luna and the Pony of Shadows, well, Luna when she's using a super magic laser, are creating magic black hole lasers? Lasers that not only have insanely high energy photons blasting things in oblivion, but there are so many of them organized that it is essentially like being hit secondarily by a black hole that is in the shape of a laser. That is quite possible, and it kind of fits their characters, making them very more terrifying characters than you could have possibly imagined. Now, if that's what this is also, it could be that and a black photon magic laser mixed with some purple ones, because Luna, Nightmare Moon, I should say, does have purple in her black magic, super magic laser. This makes them even more frighteningly dangerous characters. So, with an asterisk, they would be in first place. Now, let's include the lore. This is the B category. Who would be the most powerful? Well, including the lore, I can already tell you this. With an asterisk, it's a tie between Princess Luna and Nightmare Moon. We know for a fact from seeing the Nightmare Night comics that Princess Luna, when she got her dream magic back, she had access back to her magic laser, something she had lost when all of her dream magic was taken away. And Discord's cousin, who is exactly like him, but more evil, much more evil, and their abilities are much more like the Q entities from Star Trek. was terrified of Luna when she got those abilities back, and she pleaded not to be destroyed or harmed by her. That is a key indicator of just how powerful Princess Luna's magic lasers are. And technically, you could say that's how powerful they are when she uses her dream magic as a reservoir for other magics. Now, the reason I have this tied with Nightmare Moon, despite everything I just told you, despite the fact that she very well is not just firing a magic super laser, she's firing a magic super laser that is using black photons that are creating a black hole that's in the shape of a laser because it's so concentrated with the high energy photons. Actually, there probably would also be a singularity involved, which gravitational wise would mean it's a point of infinite gravitational energy. Up until recently, we didn't think light could escape singularities and black holes. We do now think that, or at least anyone that was following Stephen Hawking before he died now believes that, and I believe that myself. The reason they're tied is because dream magic and nightmare magic is an X factor. Hypothetically speaking, Luna could make such an intense purple freaking laser with her dream magic that she could obliterate way more than a planet or a moon or stars even. She could literally be a Death Star. And you're like, you just said she could destroy more than planets. In the lore, if you read the lore for the super lasers for Death Stars, they're actually so grotesquely powerful at full power. And if they're being force imbued by Sith Lords, the magic, the super laser of the first, but definitely the second Death Star, has a percentage chance, even if it's not great, has a percentage chance of not only destroying anything, including any star, but the universe, the multiverse, ultraverse, and anything above that. The percentage goes lower the higher it gets, but it does have the potential to destroy anything of any dimension of any universe. You're like, man, you really love lasers so much that you know about lasers from other series. Of course I do, because lasers are freaking awesome. So, Luna and Nightmare Moon could potentially do something like that. Potentially. I think there would be something grievously bad that would happen to Luna or Nightmare Moon. More so Luna than Nightmare Moon. If she did put that much energy into it, I think you would probably see Luna do a full reversion back to her younger self, be almost completely depowered, if not completely depowered. Nightmare Moon, something like that might happen, but it's much easier to get Nightmare energy magics back to replenish herself than it would be for Luna to have to solely rely on just moving the moon with her magic. And she might actually be too weak to even do that with her magic. So, using the lore, who would be the next most powerful character? Well, that's easy. It would be Star Swirl again, but not because of the versatility of his white/silver laser. You guys saw what he did in the final animated season of My Little Pony, didn't you? You saw how insanely powerful his magic lasers were when he was fighting off the evilness of the Everfree Force that was trying to encroach on Ponyville. That laser was insanely powerful that he was firing. And also, if you watch the scenes, Luna was using smaller pulses of her magic laser than Celestia, but still, he was like obliterating the crap out of that stuff with his magic laser. So I'm gonna have to give it to him for second place. Oh yeah, and then I'm also gonna have to tie him with the Pony of Shadows. He's in a weird spot. He technically would be more powerful than Star Swirl, magic laser wise, because if he is firing one of those lasers that is so intense and so concentrated that it's a black hole in singularity, it would be greater than what Star Swirl's doing. And with an X would be greater than what Luna is doing, except for she can boost it with her dream magic, which she, should be able to do some crazy things with it. So it's kind of a weird place with that. So next, I would put Twilight and Shining Armor tied together. Shining Armor is a beast. He even took on King Sombra one-on-one and survived. Granted, King Sombra was able to use a spell on him that made it so it was painful for him to use magic, and he stopped using magic. But he went headlong at him. His magic laser, it is more powerful than Twilight's, and should be counted as such. After that, I would say Daybreaker, from what we've seen of it, because it's also mixed with her fire magics, which could be atomics. It could be any kind of fire magic. And again, you might be confused by that, but if you go into other magic series, you'll see that even if a magic thing that looks like fire doesn't necessarily mean that it has the attributes of fire. I wouldn't be surprised if Daybreaker's magic fire mixed with her magic laser is atomic from a star. It would be incredibly dangerous to be hit by that thing. After that, I would have to put Queen Chrysalis. And I hate doing this because I love Celestia, but Chrysalis actually was able to beat Celestia, at least at one point. I don't know with Changelings if their magic potential stays at X, depending on what they've eaten. I know they have to constantly eat, but I don't know if that affects their actual magical abilities. So it could be variable. It could change. It could swap between Celestia anytime. But Celestia, don't get me wrong. Overall, Celestia, she is an amazing wizard. She is an amazing magic user. I think when she became a bureaucrat, she lost a lot of the fighting skills with her magic. I've lectured people a lot about this before. We even see Luna is much better at tactics than Celestia. We see that in Season 9. We see Luna actually enjoys fighting and is actually really good at fighting. She even is able to take on Queen Chrysalis without looking at her with her magic laser, and she was winning until King Sombra boosted Queen Chrysalis. After that, there's not really much to say. Cadence, and then her daughter, obviously, which is kind of scary. Her magic lasers they're pretty dangerous, even though she is just a baby alicorn. But there you have it. That is my list of who is the most powerful. I hope you enjoyed this small lecture on lasers. Peace be with you, and have a great day.